we're just having some preliminary thoughts about Vung Tau as compared to, say, Hoi An or Nha Trang. Nha Trang's a large city on the beach, and it's right on the beach. So it has a lot of food choices, more shopping and things you can do. Hoi An's a little small, and it's just overrun with tourists. The town part of it is. Plus you have to take a taxi to get to the beach, so it's not really a beach town per se. And this one, it's a larger town than Hoi An, and it's not full of tourists, at least foreign tourists. It has a lot of Vietnamese tourists. But the sand isn't as nice. So you have to kind of, if you want to be in the south and you want to be near Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh, you know, maybe this is a good choice. But so far, I think preliminarily, I still prefer Nha Trang. And I probably would take Hoi An before this town, just because I like the beach there more. We haven't seen all the beaches here yet, so this is just our conversation, but I probably would, so far I would probably put Nha Trang first, because I wouldn't live in the tourist area though. I'd live more with the Vietnamese than the Russians and the Chinese, just because it's so crowded around tourists. I don't mind Russians and Chinese, but they're just people like everyone else. But I just wouldn't want to be around that chaos. I would live in one of those neighborhoods we found that we really liked. And then Da Nang, the area, I didn't like the beach. I didn't like the beach in front of the central part of Da Nang. I like the beach in that tourist area, and that might just be a little limited. Have to check it out first, but might be a little small. So I'm thinking overall maybe I would prefer Nha Trang. What do you think?
I prefer Nha Trang.
Nha Trang? Yeah. Nha Trang and maybe that neighborhood. We'd have to maybe go north and south a little. Maybe look at maybe the north side and the south side a little further. But I would think either the neighborhood we stayed in for the 2 weeks at the end, or maybe that neighborhood where our favorite vegetarian restaurant was. So, just some thoughts. Nha Trang though is in the middle of nowhere, right? I mean, it's you know, it's not near Hanoi, it's not near Ho Chi Minh, but it's big and it's interesting, and it has a lot of interesting coastline around it, north and south of it, you know, where there just aren't a lot of people. You could, if you're really into nature, that you could explore. So, but we're here for another, you know, we're here for a week, and then we head to Phu Quoc, which is an island in the south part of Vietnam. Apparently there's an island about 4 hours off of here.
Oh, I just see it. It's just 3 hours.
3 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's just a small little island, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it would, if I lived here, it might be a weekend thing. I don't think I want to live on a really small little island.
Yeah, because it's far.
It's far.
3 hours.
Yeah.
But I see the water is clean.
The water's clean and beautiful. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, so Phu Quoc's kind of the same thing. It's a resort place, but we kind of have to see it and see the coastline around it. I've seen some videos of that southern part of Vietnam, and it's definitely worth exploring. But it looks like I'm going to stay with Nha Trang as my favorite, which it's been my favorite since I first went there in 2016. So, but we'll see as we wind things up. After we've completed the whole country tour, we'll do a best of Vietnam.
Because I didn't see Russian is something.
Yeah, there's some Russians there. We were there off season though, so we don't really know how bad it can get in terms of tourists. But I don't really, honestly, I don't really have any objection to tourists in general. I don't really care what country they're from, but I just prefer not to be around them in my daily life. I'd rather just be in a normal neighborhood. Also, the prices are a little bit inflated in tourist neighborhoods, but if you shop in a a normal neighborhood, whatever country you're in this case Vietnam, you're gonna have better prices. The locals will be friendlier to you because you're not, you know, one of 100 tourists bothering them that day. And you're really experiencing the country rather than people visiting the country if you live in a local neighborhood. So. Now this is a local, the good thing about Vung Tau here is this is really local Vietnamese, right? I mean, we do see tourists here, but they're mainly Aussies, and a lot of them are Aussies that have returned from and to live here and retire, that were here during the Vietnam War, and others of course, but and so there's a lot of writing online about the Vietnam War Australians that came here after the war, not right away, but you know, 20 years later, that have retired and started second families and had kids, and you see them everywhere. Yeah. You see them, you know, they're you know, mid to late 60s, early 70s, people that would have been 20 years old during the Vietnam War. So, but in terms of safety and beauty, it's a beautiful place. The water's not as pretty maybe as other parts of Vietnam. The beach is not as pretty, the ones we've seen so far, but it's a nice temperature. It's a very well-kept city, so it's definitely a choice that you could make and be comfortable here. So anyway, talk to you guys in a bit. This is Dan of Vagabond Buddha. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, could you please like it, subscribe, or comment? Any of those would increase our rankings in the search engines, which would help our business greatly. Thanks so much in advance. This is Dan of Vagabond Buddha. Hey, we write reports about the best places in the world to retire cheap. Come on over to Vagabond Buddha and check us out. Just click the link below this video. Come to Vagabond Buddha, see what the sort of services and prices we have. Thanks so much.